Hi and welcome to the Market Alert for Friday, the 10th of September 2021. So bonds, Bitcoin and bullion bid higher, sort of. Big tech and black gold skid, and the breadth of the major markets stinks apparently. But the real gem has to be this news item that came out yesterday. And as I've said before, it's not the first time I've been called a conspiracy theorist during the last 13 years since the crash of 2008 because of the manipulation in the markets. It's not about having a theory, it's about actually digging deep and seeing what's really going on. And this is just absolutely stunning and confirmation again of the blatant manipulation by these crooks. I mean, following mass outrage. Just look at this. Fed presidents Kaplan and Rosengren will sell all their stocks due to ethics concerns. These people have no ethics. They're chosen on the basis of not having any ethics. The psychometric test designed for these crooks is, are you a psychopath and a sociopath? Are you happy to live with manipulating prices and also benefiting from it? If you say nothing, we'll say nothing. It's just unbelievable. So just when you thought the farce couldn't get any bigger, it does. And if we have a look at the article of this, it's blatant, absolutely and utterly blatant. It's got sweet FA to do with ethics concerns. 13 years they've been doing this, and they've not only been doing this by holding, Facebook, Google, but they've actually been day trading. So they know exactly when the plunge protection team are going to come in, and that was another thing that I was castigated about, was the plunge protection team. But go and have a look on the internet, type it in, and you'll find that it was brought in by Reagan to try and bring some sort of stability to the market after the '87 crash. And it's just incredible. What does this say here? It says, suddenly it also emerged that Boston Fed President Eric Rosengren was also a Fed day trader. Exactly what I've been saying. When you see the market being rallied back, further bolstering claims that not only is the market rigged and manipulated by the Fed, but it is rigged directly for the benefit of the Fed members like Kaplan and Rosengren, who, whether they intended or not, I think we'll go with the former here, shall we? Benefited monetarily from their own decisions and their inside information. These people should be shot, never mind thrown to prison. But it is incredible, isn't it? It always comes out in the end the same as the manipulation in the silver market. I will be right about that, because you can't have silver at $23 an ounce when there's world demand for solar panels, electric cars, and there's not enough silver coming out of the ground. So it's just, again, using derivatives to manipulate the price. So you just got to hang in there and wait for the day, because when they go long and switch sides, then it'll look like this chart. This is Google or whatever. So these crooks have been buying stocks all the way up, but are now selling due to ethic concerns. Don't you love it? Ethics. They have zero ethics, these people. Absolutely zero. It's a case of job for the boys, etc., etc. But the key to this is this. And this hit me like a ton of bricks, and it was great to see the article also contained it. This for me was, look out, folks, the stock market's in for a rocky time. And as it says here, yet others have noted that amid a barrage of negative sentiment from the sell side, with all major Wall Street banks predicting pain for stocks in the coming weeks ahead of the Fed's up-and-coming taper, Kaplan's ethical choice to dump his holdings at all-time highs and convert his holdings into index funds or cash is a perfect excuse to get out of the market just before the crash. I'm amazed. Absolutely amazed. Obviously, somebody has leaked the fact that these unethical people, crooks to anybody else, or banksters, have actually been exposed, because obviously they were going to jump ship prior to a major correction in the market. But there you go. It is all there if you go and have a look for it. You'll find that the whole thing is a rigged game, and it has been since 2007, because it's easy to do it. The computer networks are all linked. It's so easy. It's not like when I started trading in 1990 and there was no internet and you had to phone a broker in the US to place an order. You never even saw the price. There was no screens, there was nothing, unless you, like I did, had a satellite dish with prices streamed in at £600 a month from FutureSource. And then the advent of the internet made that a lot easier, and now we all have access to it, and now we can actually see the game that they're playing. This is not new by any means, but during the last from 2013 to where we are, so 11, 12 years, 13 years, it's just breathtaking what they've been able to get away with. And then people say to me, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Well, keep saying it, and it's exactly the same with the COVID farce that's going on as well. You don't need to be psychic to actually predict how they're using this as an excuse, along with the World Economic Forum, to destroy people's lives so they can build back better. That's precisely what it's designed for and engineered to do. And again, do the research and you'll find out it's easy to predict the sun rising and setting. Anyway, I'll calm down, rant over. Today, what news have we got? The criminal's out again. Another criminal. Lagarde's out at 10:30. Speaking again, we'll have a look at what she had to say yesterday and what the ECB did with rates, etc. If you didn't know, we've got PPI from the US at 1:30, and then we've got the core PPI also as well, medium impact there. Implied volatility is starting to move to the upside. You can see over the last 3 days we've gone from 1242, 1355, 1472, and above the moving average line there as well. And we'll come back to silver and gold when we look at the metals. But let's get to the stock markets. Let's kick off with the Dow. This is the daily chart. You can see again yesterday down to the 78% retracement, which we drew in yesterday morning. And the market having a bounce overnight at the moment, heading back towards the 5-bar moving average. Let's draw in some fibs from the high to this low, and you can see there's your fibs to the upside. If we get a reversal, there's the continuation to the downside as well. So there, keep an eye on those numbers there. Take note, a screenshot, or mark up accordingly if you are trading the Dow. Yesterday's 30-minute chart, you can see once again we moved to the upside, and then they brought the market right back as soon as just after 4 o'clock, I think it was, or 3:30 when they started to sell off, and you can see them trying to bring the market back again. Must have been when Kaplan and Rosengren got out or announced that they were actually going to sell all of their holdings at that point. Just being cynical, of course. Who knows? But I would imagine that the fact that they've actually mentioned that they're out of the market, or getting out of the market, they're already out of the market, to be honest with you. So in the DAX, this looks the same, except we went down to 89%. Market stopped at 89 and was brought back, as I said yesterday in the market alert. Don't be surprised to see the market brought back, and that's exactly what they did from the start in the morning. Again, what you want to do here on the upside from here down to here is just draw in the fib retracements just to get an idea of where they could stop. And again, on the upside you have these here, which point again to the 89%, 15,904, which is easy to remember, 89%. And then on the downside, of course, you've got these here as well. If the market continues lower, if the 89 is broken, then this low will become important as well. If that's broken, then we continue to the downside, which you draw in fibs from here to here and then mark back along here, which I can draw in for you, but I didn't want to get too many on the chart. But that would be the area there on the downside. But I suspect that that's going to be held for the time being until we get further into October. Meanwhile, 30-minute chart, again, you can see yesterday morning they moved the market lower, and then they just marked it up, and then in the afternoon you see how it was brought back, but back up again. On the overnight, around 78% retracement by the looks of things, from here down to here. Yeah, bang on 78% there for the DAX at the moment. And in the 2-minute chart, just a quick closer look, you can see already they're starting to bring prices up. It's just before 7 a.m. I'm a bit later this morning, but you can see how they've moved the market up overnight there from yesterday's activity back above the DP, and the 200 MA there as well. So off to the metals. Let's start off with the dollar, as that's come up. So yesterday the dollar hitting 62%. The news from Europe actually sent the dollar lower when the criminal was speaking about tapering. I forget what she called it. We'll have a look when we look at the inside data of the news, when we're looking at the review of yesterday's price action. But it sent the dollar lower, which was good. Got to 62% and then fell flat and is moving lower as well. I think the September contract expires a week today for the dollar index. So if it's not available on Monday, then it will have rolled over to December. Meanwhile, in silver, yesterday we see some demand for silver on the downside, more buying than selling taking place, which I'm surprised by. But don't hold your breath, because they did exactly what they've done for the last, I don't know how many weeks, months, years. Again, yesterday, I'll just show you this. You can see it here. It didn't take long, did it? They did run the market up with when Lagarde made a statement, and then they said, "Nah, come on, well, let's just push it all back to the downside." So that's what they did yesterday, and the gold-silver ratio is moving slightly back to the downside there. So silver making up a bit of ground there. So let's go back to the charts. We are making a bit of an advance at the moment, but as you say, you see the pattern at between 1 and 3. They like to move the market lower, but these are the upside targets at the moment. We've got to get through 24.50 and then 25. 25 is the stickler at the moment on the upside if they can move the market in this direction. If not, then we'll continue back down to these levels. And I've still got an order in down at $20, just in case they fancy it. I'm up for it if they want to move the market down lower, way below here. So I've got one there just in case they want to pull one of these stunts that they pulled the other week on a Sunday night by selling billions of ounces into a paper market, not into a real market. So that's the silver. The gold market also moving to the upside. That too finding some demand during yesterday's session, sideways, unlike silver, which was actually lower. So a bit of support there. And again, on the upside, if prices start to move back, you'll see these areas here that will give some resistance there. You can see them there. So let's have a look at yesterday's price action, and let's just move back to the start. You can see the futures market kicking off immediately, moving to the upside. And then let's just fast forward into the activity. Again, same as on Wednesday, they moved the market down in the futures market and then slammed it down when it opened. We got exactly the same action, but less velocity to the downside. You can see them buying back in here with the buying coming in. It's more or less the same as the previous bar, but just for good measure, we'll just shake out and make sure and do that again, which they do. Again, you can see the volume is greater in this bar than the previous selling bar, and then they reverse the market back very, very quickly, which was likely to be the case given the down day before. We then had a sell signal to the downside, and as the day before as well, if you recall, again, same pattern. The market was brought back to a psychological level, a BRN, big round number. And I thought this is going to hold at this level, so decided to jump ship. The market then reversed and then put in a buy signal. And I was close to getting stopped out on this. I managed to just hold the trade, and then it moved higher and then just trailed the stop up. You can see 50 odd points. And then we got the selling coming in here, which you'll see, and that's at the previous day's low. And then stopped out of the trade. And then let's just fast forward all the way through to the news. We had Lagarde speaking yesterday, the ECB, with their rate. So the news was ECB boosts 2020 inflation forecast to 2.2 from 2.9. What world do these people live in, and what are they using to calculate this BS? 2.2%. Try getting 2.2% in food prices. Honestly, you just despair, don't you, when you read this crap, and how they can actually get away with it. That I think most people are asleep. Is the conclusion I've come to what's really going on in the world. Anyway, they've also boosted the GDP forecast to 5%, and this is the idea. You see, this is to boost the euro. And they can say whatever they want with the inflation, but if they can't really say, well, inflation. They can't get GDP figures or put these out at 5% if they can't prove that there's actually a demand in creating temporary inflation. You notice again this word temporary inflation, but we'll have to wait and see. There's a part of me that agrees with this actually, that the inflation is temporary due to the releasing of everybody from lockdown. Over the last few months, and people, spending money from furlough, etc., or stimmy checks in America. But so that's, I could see the temporary side of it. But when do prices actually come back down? That's the question, isn't it? Do they ever come back down? I've never seen that happen. Let me just go through here. Lagarde opening statement: current inflation increase largely temporary. And then she did talk about something else, which I thought I'd got about the QE for Europe, and they've renamed it, but I can't remember what they've renamed it. But again, it's smoke and mirrors effectively, and they're going to try tapering as well. Well, good luck with that one, Mrs. Lagarde or Miss Lagarde, whatever you are. The market's reaction there. The dollar went down, the stock markets went up, and then when we kicked off in the afternoon, you can see that we had a buy signal, market moving up again, trailing to the 5-bar moving average. Got out, but they decided to keep this one going. They got what they wanted from Lagarde, so the German DAX had a bit of a wobble, came back below the 5-bar a couple of times. You can see here we've got an 89% retracement. And then the market followed the trajectory to the upside to the DP. And then we had the crude oil at 4. There was a sell signal there, which I didn't do, as you'll see, because I wasn't at the desk. But the market moving to the downside there. Okay, that will do it for today. It's heading into the weekend, so I will cut it short and have a great weekend. And as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.